IIM International University, Sharjah, for the inaugural address.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to IIU, Sharjah. Most importantly, welcome to Sharjah, one of the most prominent educational and cultural centers of the Middle East. And it's a pleasure and privilege to host you all out here. IIU, as you will be knowing, is an international university. Here in the UAE, we are conducting Buckinghamshire University's programs, basically in law, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels, as well as a few business management programs as well. Its international presence in Sri Lanka, in UK, and now here in the UAE has given us a global perspective, which certainly bodes well for conducting these kinds of programs out here at our campus. So, on behalf of academicians, they are a very good forum for voicing their academic, scholarly, social, political sometimes views within an intellectual community which otherwise is not available to so many professionals around the world. And that is why we have that kind of privilege of being academicians. Having said that, I would also like to briefly give a little bit of, show a little bit of my concern about these kind of conferences that are held. What is the purpose? What outcomes are we trying to achieve? Is it only being conducted for the purpose of, there is a old saying and it continues to be very relevant even today, publish or perish for an academician. So whenever we use the term publish or perish, there is some kind of a compulsion within ourselves that we have to. And when we have to survive in the academia, sometimes we go through the motions and not realize the basic purpose of not only research, but also conferences and publications. I come from the management field and I find that a large number of colleagues from all over the world are only bothered about publishing somehow, anyhow. And when you do that, what happens? You just put your research into some kind of a formula. There are 3, 4, 5 sections. You fill those sections, and there are journals and conferences which cater to your need for their own motives, and then you have done it. Whether that research of yours has added any value to the existing body of knowledge or not, whether you have created or done any research which has added any value to the industry, to the society, to various other platforms, you are not bothered. Which means we as academicians have failed in our purpose. We are only doing it for self-service sake. So it is important that we think on these lines. Don't get carried away by just having a conference, attending a conference, publishing something, anything, anyhow, because that does not befit an academic. So I have always been a little critical. Sometimes the organizers don't like me for that purpose because a conference has to be a conference. It has to conclude something out of its deliberations of the day. or a few days. You have to have that conclusion used for the purpose of industry, society, government, or whatever. Do we do that? Sometimes we don't, or most of the times we don't. And it remains in the, academic zone. This is cricket season, and I'll be rushing to watch my match today. Everybody is, and that is why Dr. Prakash should be blamed to keep it on such a day, when knowing pretty well that it is going to be a final match. Anyway, we'll take solace in catching up at the dying end of the match. But what I was trying to give an example of was that in the old days, because I come from the last century, where we used to have those 5-day matches. We still have, but rarely, in between various pajama kind of crickets. But those 5-day cricket, there were 3 results possible: a victory, a loss, or a draw. Normally in a football match you don't have a draw, or if it is a draw you'll have a shootout, or etc, etc. So on the last day, the 5th day of the match, both the teams have scored 500-600 runs, and it is very clear that the match will not lead to any victory or loss. But still the batsman who's playing, he's playing to score a century, and he actually does score a century. What happens to that century? It has not contributed either to victory or to loss, but it remains in the statistics and in the books for academic purposes only. Right? So what we are doing here is mostly the outcome is for academic purpose only, not actually impacting the society, not impacting the industry, not giving any suggestions to the government to improve something or not. That is something which pains me when I meet academicians on forums like this. So this is important for us to keep in mind, so that whenever you are thinking, at least next time, when you are invited for a conference, or you're thinking to research and write a paper, keep this in mind as to what is the purpose. Am I doing justice to my research, or am I just going through the motion because the university wants me to publish, and the university will promote me only if I have published in Scopus or ABDC or whatever it is, or unless and until I publish so much, I will not be considered a good academician. What does that mean? Even if I publish once, I come from Lucknow University, and when I joined there as a faculty also, way back in the last century, one of the criteria for appointing a professor, and it is still there in the rule book out there, is a prominent person who has contributed to academics in some way or other can be appointed a professor, irrespective of the number of papers he has published, irrespective of how many years he has taught, irrespective of anything else that we prescribe normally as criteria for promotions and this and that. And also there is a distinction one has to keep in mind. There can be very good teachers but not very good researchers. There can be very good researchers but not very good teachers. But still, everybody is measured by the same yardstick. That's not fair. That's not fair. And that is where, I appreciate sometimes, I'm here in this country now for 20 years. And I have worked with American university systems, worked with British university systems, and of course my parent universities are Indian universities where I worked, studied and so on. And I have worked with multinational staff and faculty members, Arabs, Europeans, Americans, Southeast Asian, and so on and so forth. And one thing that I normally tell them is, leave your baggage, come here and think only from the point of view of serving the cause of the student. Where do you earn your bread from? The students. So if you are neglecting them in any which way, it's criminal, right? Anyway, so I don't want to go into too many such details. Once again, I am happy to be welcoming you all here. I am happy that IIU is hosting it. We have Priyanka, who has arranged everything, and appreciate Dr. Janagan, who is the chairman of the group, has not been able to make it, though he was supposed to have come here. On behalf of Dr. Janagan also, I would like to welcome you all here. And I hope that the day goes on very well, that deliberations are useful, you carry back a few good memories, not only of the city of Sharjah, of hosting here at IIU, but also academically you take back a few good things. And also wishing each one of you a very good luck. There is a small, there is a small thing. I think I will be talking to Dr. Prakash. We have a scholar here who has recently published a book, and we want to release that book also today. And that is where I'm feeling very proud, because whenever something constructive happens, it always adds to the value and to the body of knowledge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.